Hello, my beautiful soul tribe. Thanks for clicking on the video. I love you guys so very much. We're just going to do a general collective reading. No specific topic that I'm aware of at the moment. We're just going to talk to spirit. I just want to speak to spirit. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I've been crying, not crying like there's nothing wrong, but I don't know. My heart has just been, I've been searching, about the world and the things of this world, hurting people, all the way from people murdering their loved ones to sex trafficking and abuse of one another. I was on TikTok and I don't know, I just went down a rabbit hole. Okay. So I was searching, asking God about it. Like, I don't understand pain, right? And he led me to the Bible, and I was reading, and it was talking about, we build our own houses and we forget to build the house for the Lord, and that's why the world is in the state that it's in, basically, is what it was saying. So it answered my question, and then I started asking, well, it's not a church. It's not about building churches, okay? It's about building that house in your heart, having an open, compassionate heart for one another, is what the Lord was telling me, right? Having compassion for each other, right? But anyways, I don't know why I'm telling y'all this, but that's been my morning. So I just want to talk to spirit. I want to talk to spirit about the collective, and I just want to get a message for us, okay? Whatever that message may be, whatever spirit wants to talk to us about today, I'm just going to open myself up and let them speak. So let's go ahead and get started. Father God, Holy Spirit, beautiful archangels, ancestors, higher beings, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to the collective today, to receive these messages. I ask that you please give me clear discernment as I do receive the messages, and I thank you. Thank you, Father. Please give my collective clear discernment as they also receive the messages in the way that they're meant to receive them. Thank you. Archangel Michael, I ask that you please put a white light of divine protection around my energy, the energy of my collective, the energy of this reading. Archangel Raphael, please clear and connect our heart chakras to your healing energy. Thank you. Thank you, archangels, ancestors, Father, Holy Spirit, amen. All right. Let's go ahead and get started here. All right, Spirit, what are we going to talk about today? What messages do you have for our collective today? Okay, doubt and blame. Let's talk about doubt and blame. I've been working through both of these energies over the last year, okay? I was doubting myself. I was doubting, different people that were placed on my path at one time. I went through some pretty dark stuff, and so I was looking for someone to blame, and it took me down even a darker road, and then I ended up getting the point, and I surrendered my doubt. I surrendered the need to blame, that victim mentality of whatever, what my situation had been. There was no right or wrong in the situation. It wasn't the situation, the dark situation that I went through. I realized it wasn't about right or wrong. It wasn't about blame. It was about me seeing something of the world around me. It was about me seeing something of myself, right? So I was able to lay down the blame and the doubt. But let me just read this. It says, I release the need to know all the answers, right? Like this morning I was questioning, why does evil exist, right? Why does evil exist? I mean, I know what's in my heart. I know the world, that God shows me in my heart and my mind. I know the love that I share with those around me. And then you hear about something, evil in the world, and it does. It'll make you doubt, right? But I feel like, the point is, your personal experience, your, staying in the moment, staying focused in what your experiences are moment to moment, not doubting or looking for someone to blame. It's about accepting responsibility for our own well-being and trusting in the universe, walking by faith, right? And we don't need to know all the answers. You know, I don't need to know, I guess. I'll never understand, like, evil, for example. And I'll never understand it. And I don't need to know all the answers as to why it exists. It's not, you know, thank goodness it's not part of my experience at this moment in my life. And I'm grateful for that. But it doesn't mean I haven't experienced it, right? I don't know. We don't need to know the answers as to why things are the way they are. We're meant to, I feel like, just kind of trust. And in the moments, make right judgment from a place of who you are, a place of love, right? A place of compassion. It's not really, you know, the why of things. Spirit's teaching us, right? It's not the why. Like, why does this happen? Why does that happen? Why does God allow this to be this way and that way, right? Instead of the why, asking the why of it, maybe it's all about us focusing on how we're going to show up in it. The choice that we actually get to make with our free will, which is how we choose to show up. How we choose to present ourselves in whatever it may be. I feel like it is the point, right? You know, instead of sitting back looking for someone to blame for the evil, maybe instead of looking for someone to blame, it's time for us to take responsibility for who we are and how we can show up. It's just kind of what I'm getting, right? Anyways, tell me about this energy of doubt, Spirit. What can you tell me about this energy of doubt? What have we doubted here? What do we doubt? What is this doubt speaking of, please? Is this not the right deck? Listen with your heart and don't doubt your heart. I trust the messages that I receive from my heart, not from your fear, right? Not from your fear, not from because doubt and fear are hand in hand, right? But what does your heart tell you about who you are? About who those people that you love, who are they? They're not their mistakes, and you're not your mistakes, right? You're not evil, they're not evil. There's situations in the world that we don't understand, that we perceive as evil, and we want to blame others for, but at some point we all have to take a responsibility for where we've doubted and been misguided at times by not listening to our heart even, right? Yeah, instead of blaming, Spirit's telling us step into the stillness. My power is born in the majesty of silence. The inner reflection, right? Your answers come not from like trying to fix the world or blame or look for all the answers as to why in the world, but your answers come from within yourself when you do take those moments of silence to do your inner reflection, to search your heart, to figure out what is your heart telling you, where is your heart guiding you. And we can only figure out our heart, especially in today's world, we can only figure out our heart when we do take moments to be quiet, moments of stillness, moments of inner reflection. Right? When we stop looking outside of ourselves, looking for something to blame or someone to blame, you know, looking outside of ourselves, letting the world create doubt within us because of the chaos that is outside at times in the world around us, that creates fear, that creates doubt. But when you listen with your heart, with your soul, with your spirit, when you're walking by faith and you're trusting in the universe, you're trusting in your goodness and the goodness of those around you, you're going to find the truth of the matter, I'm hearing, right? But it's going to, right, it takes us stopping, being still, going within to figure out what our heart is trying to say to us, each one of us, okay? Is what I'm getting here. Yeah, we're here to heal from the past. step into the future with strength and clarity. So we're healing from the past. Let's talk some more. Oh, Spirit. Yeah, we're here to create space. What do I no longer need? Help me, God, to release whatever people, places, or things drain my vital essence. Show me what will fill me with enthusiasm and joy. That's how we heal from the past, I'm hearing. Okay, they said put that out. Right? So creating space. And that's what we've been doing, collective. I know me personally, I've been going through this. Releasing people, places, and things that you know, and these people, places, and things are the same people, places, and things that I love, but I was also, either they were blaming me or I was holding on to blame of them for past situations even, right? These things that I've been asked to release, I doubted their love for me at times. I doubted, you know, the experiences that we shared at times. But those things, holding on to those people, places, and things of my past were the triggers that were creating this doubt and this energy of blame in myself. So the best thing to do was to release that so I could heal from the past. And I'm hearing in my mind, I don't know it verse by verse, but it says something in the Bible about it's better to cut off your hand or lose your eye, right? Than to lose like your whole life or whatever, right? It's kind of what I'm hearing, but I don't know how it goes exactly, but it's kind of that scenario. It's better to let go of the things that keep you in that energy of doubt or blame, right? Than to hold on to those things and then hold yourself in those energies, because it stops you from being able to heal. And that's why we're asked to release, right? We're asked to release the people, places, and things that drain our vital energy, that create blockages on our path, from being able to listen to our heart, from being able to, you know, go within, be still. Because when we're worrying about finding the blame, who's at fault for whatever, it doesn't matter who's at fault, Spirit's saying. Okay, we all have offense against one another. We've all been at fault at one time or another, you know? And so it doesn't really matter who's at fault when it comes down to it. It matters how we're going to be responsible to move past things and to heal, right? It's not about the blame game. It's about how are we going to take responsibility for our own well-being and begin our healing journey, or take ownership of our own personal healing journey. If we're sitting here trying to find, you know, who's right and who's wrong, and we're holding on to something out of fear or doubt, then that doesn't give us room to take responsibility, right? We're still in those lower energies. So I feel like Spirit's telling us, in order to be able to truly heal from your past and to change the energy, that, right, to truly get on the healing journey, this is a requirement, this to create space, to release whatever people, places, or things that have drained our vital essence. And it's not saying, oh, well, they drained me, so they're in the wrong type thing. No, it's no longer holding yourself to something that isn't conducive to your healing. And it's not about they're wrong and you're right, or you're right and they're wrong. We don't need to be in that mentality of things, because that's why Spirit teaches us about forgiveness is the key to everything. It's how you're going to take responsibility for yourself. Okay? But let's talk about listening to your heart. True love. Your wholeness and safety lie within, not from a partner. But this sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. And that's what's up, right? When we're looking for fulfillment of love from the world outside of ourselves, from another, that we tend to doubt that love. We tend to be afraid of that love. Either we're afraid of losing it, or we're afraid of getting hurt by it, things like that, right? And it blocks us from being able to tap into our true self, our true heart. But when we release that, the need to be fulfilled by another, that opens us up to listen to our heart and find the true love. Because Spirit was telling me last night, love, we're all in this world, and we're all looking to find love. We're all wanting to be fulfilled in love by finding it outside of ourselves. But that's not how it works. You're going to find that love within yourself. You're going to find that love within the wholeness, that understanding, that awakening and recognition of your own wholeness. Your love is already within you because you are of God. You are made of love. You come from the love of God. So that love is within you. We're not meant to be in the world looking for love from another. We're meant to be in the world to be love for one another. Love is something you give, not something you're meant to just receive, right? It's not about receiving love. It's about your capability to give love. Okay? I feel like that is the true meaning of love. But we've been, we've all been looking for love outside of ourselves in the world around us, whether it's through partners or parents or our own children even, or a career, right? It's like we're not going to be happy, we're not going to be fulfilled unless we get love from outside, an outside source. And you're never going to be fulfilled when you're looking at it in that way. But once you start loving, you are love, and you start having that confidence to just be love in all situations, in all the world, like in every way. You give love, right? You're here to give love, not to receive that love. Then that love becomes whole, and right? It's just fulfilled in itself. That true love comes from your wholeness, and it lies within you, not from a partner, right? So let's talk about blame and stepping into stillness. Your power is born in the majesty of the silence, right? The peace, the calmness within yourself. That's where your power truly comes from. Not from your strength in creating chaos or fighting against the system even. It's not even about that. It's that peace and that stillness within you. The ability to let go of trying to find who's right and who's wrong, and just to be. Show up in the world in being love, just to be love. Following your guidance of your heart, and showing up with peace. That's perfection. Permission to make mistakes is freeing. Okay, so it's okay to make mistakes. It's not about blaming who's right and who's wrong. We've all made mistakes, right? It's about who's going to be peaceful, who's going to be forgiving, who's going to show up and be loving, who's going to be the giver. Are you going to be the giver, or are you going to be the taker? When we have all sides being the giver, then nobody's going to go without. When we have all people showing up in that giving energy, then everybody will receive. There's no takers, there's only givers. Can you imagine that world where we have only the givers and everybody's given of themselves to one another? And it's right, it's even, it's perfection. It's beautiful. But it says permission to make mistakes is so freeing. It's the root of creativity and change. Allow me, divine, to make as many mistakes as I need to. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. Okay? Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. So, we shouldn't hold each other to standards of perfectionism. And then when someone, that's not unconditional love, right? When someone lets you down or disappoints you or doesn't do something the way you expect them to do or be in a way you expect them to be, then it causes chaos and conflict and resentment and anger and the unhealed energies. And that's conditional. Perfectionism is a version of conditional love, really. Our imperfectionism, us being imperfect but perfectly made, that's conditional. That's unconditional love. Just the acceptance of our imperfections of one another. because we're not the takers, right? We're not here to take. We're here to be the givers of one another. And givers, they don't, when you give from your heart because you're listening to your heart, right? You don't give expecting something in return. You don't give only if someone's perfect. You know, if you see a person in need, you don't give because they're perfect. You give because they're in need, and it's in your heart to be compassionate, to be the spark of God in that moment, right? So we should look at all connections in that way of giving, and stop trying to hold each other to these perfect standards of what this should be or what that should be, and expect people to live up to the illusions that we've been conditioned to believe in, that were never true anyways. It's time for us to heal the past, to allow each other to be imperfect, to be the givers, to live in a world where we're the giver and not the taker, and where we can trust our heart and not let fear and doubt, conflict, power struggle, greed, don't let those things control us. Don't be controlled by anything outside of yourself, but allow yourself to be responsible and be guided from within self, from within your own heart, from that peace and calm place within yourself, where you're accepting of self, but you're accepting of others also, right? That when you can accept things as they are, and you're just in the flow of life, and you're not putting I'm trying to think of the word, it keeps coming to me when it unrealistic. You're not putting unrealistic expectations on yourself or another. Then you can truly just be in the moment. Take the most from the moment, right? Trust in right. You're following your heart. You're not there with expectations. You're truly just being, showing up, right? You can trust in the moment. You can trust in yourself. You can trust in the situation, no matter what it is. You can trust because you know that you're showing up from a place of perfection, of not perfection, purity, right? You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be pure of heart, pure of mind, calm, peaceful, love. Not showing up with, oh, I'm perfect and you got to be perfect, or you know what I'm saying? Not that energy. There's a difference between perfection and purity, I'm hearing, right? Is what I'm, anyways. Tell me about healing from the past. Healing from the hardships of the past. May I embrace what's happening right now, as baffling or painful as it is. Help me, God, to trust where you are guiding me. I am yours. That's how we move through the past, right? Through the past hardships. We create space by releasing anything that triggers us or holds us in that energy. We release it with love, not out of resentment necessarily, right? We follow the guidance, right? We create space, we release the hardships, we allow our feelings to be what they are, and we allow their feelings to be what they are. We just accept. Emotions want to be felt. You really can't surrender something until you deeply feel it. Allow me, dear Divine, to offer all emotions to you, feeling them fully so they no longer hold me captive. That's kind of what I was going through this morning when I was crying about just the things that I perceive as pure evil, right? Like, I don't understand it, and God hasn't felt the need to give me the answers as to why evil even exists in the world. But He allows me to feel it through that heart of love and compassion. He allows me to dream of it different, like being different, right? He allows those things. He doesn't give me the answer as to why those things exist, but He allows me to have hope. Okay, and so I feel like for me, I would rather have hope and dream of the peace that's coming after we've accepted whatever this evilness has been, whatever it has been, whatever the hardships have been, right? Feeling the emotions. Allow yourself to feel the depths of your emotions around those things, but don't allow those things, those situations to consume you. Stay hopeful and be the love. Be the giver of love. no matter what. We're here to be the givers to one another, to give the love, not to be the takers, okay? Anyways, this is going to be kind of short on this one, y'all. Let me just read a few more from the chakra cards, and yeah. My dog's starting to bark. Buddy, please stop. Let's see here. Buddy, stop. Willpower and determination, and radiate warmth and sincerity, which is kind of what I'm trying to explain here, but let's read it. Set clear boundaries is talking about this energy over here. Give me one moment, y'all. Let me deal with my dog. Every time someone opens the outside door, because I live in like a gated building, every time someone opens the door, he thinks he's got to let them hear him. But yeah, so we've got throat chakra, speak your truth from the heart chakra. But willpower and determination. I set clear boundaries for my own behavior, and I cultivate a strong will by being true to myself. I use my willpower to accomplish my daily tasks and spiritual goals, and to encourage uplifting thoughts and behaviors in myself. It's all about taking ownership, right, of the self. Doing this will assist me on the next stage of my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual growth. I stay in touch with my positive thoughts and truth by avoiding substance abuse. My will is strong and my mind is clear. That's that purification energy I was talking about also, right? Purifying yourself. Substance, that could be anything, not just like drugs. It could be caffeine. It could be, negative thinking. It can be, focusing on the worst case scenario versus, hoping for the best case scenarios. It could be anything, right? But I feel like Spirit wants us to stand in our willpower, our free will, which is the power of your right to choose for yourself. You can only be responsible for yourself, your choices, your thoughts, your energy. We can't be responsible for anyone else. And if we're sitting here trying to blame and look for who's right and who's wrong, or we're stuck in fear instead of following the guidance and the comfort of our heart that comes from within, right? If we're only focusing on the energies outside of ourselves, then we become stagnant and stuck, and we grow more of that negative energy in the world. But when we stop focusing outside of ourselves, and we use our free will to choose for self, the best for self, to choose hope for self, it radiates into the world around you. When we choose to be the giver of love, we choose to show up in the world responsibly as a giver of love instead of just a taker, right? We're not here to take, we're here to give. But once we show up within ourselves in that energy, it radiates outside of ourselves. And that's when the world changes. That's when, not that the whole world is going to change overnight, no, but your world, you will notice the change in your world, in your reality, in your perception, in your situations, right? The world for you will change because you've shifted your focus. You've shifted your perception in the way you're choosing to show up in the world. You're no longer choosing to show up and be directed by outside forces, but you're being directed from the force within self, which is your willpower and your divine spark, okay? But then it says radiate warmth and sincerity. I am open to sharing, accepting, communicating, and connecting with others as I focus on this moment, not the past or the future. A smile, a kind-hearted way of speaking, or a hug goes a long way towards uplifting others. I offer care and support where I can without rescuing. I nurture and respect my relationships. Right? That's back to this energy, listening with your heart. And that's also speaking of, what I was just saying about showing up. We can show up for one another. We can be the givers of love, but ultimately we We can only each be responsible for ourselves. So we each have to do that, right? We all can only do that for self, but we can still show up to be the givers of love. I hope I'm not rambling. I know I am rambling. I'm rambling, but I'm trying to explain what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing here. Yeah, responsibility. This is okay. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit's like, I know you're struggling. Let me just pull what I want you to say here. So let's read it. I plant myself on solid ground by consistently taking responsibility and having personal accountability for all that I do. I allow others to depend on me being responsible. My actions speak louder than my words. I rise above excesses and overindulgences as I forgive myself for my past indiscretions. I know I could not have acted in a more evolved way than I was able to at the time. You're not here to be perfect, but we're here to purify ourselves from the perception of imperfection, basically. Yeah, and then we got bliss. And when we can do that, when we can let go of all that energies of attachment to perfection, attachment to seeking love outside of ourselves, attachment to focusing on, all the horrible things that we've been conditioned to believe are going on. There are evils in the world, but you can't be responsible for those things. You can be responsible for how you show up for the people who have experienced those things, how you can show up to encourage and love on them. But you can't be responsible for those things. God is in control of those things. But when we just accept and be, and we take responsibility, we don't let the outside forces, overpower us with fear, doubt, right fighting, resentment, but we show up and we listen to our heart. We're in divine union. We're walking in the world as these beings of true love because we're walking in our bliss. Okay, and bliss is when you have peace and quietness and moments of bliss in your life. So it says, I seek and find peace, quietness, and moments of bliss in my life. I am persistent in this quest. I allow myself to feel divine presence radiating within and around me. I allow myself to create abundance and fulfillment and to live a life free of fear. Meditation is part of my life. It's about trusting in the universe, being the peace. Even if nothing outside of yourself is peaceful, if nothing outside of yourself feels loving, you have the responsibility to show up as the peace, as the love within yourself. Show up as that, and you first, as you show up as that, you take the responsibility within self to come from your heart. Okay, you give that to yourself, but you show up as that in your environment. You're gonna see it start to radiate outside of yourself. The chaos that you've been perceiving before will change. And I know y'all probably are like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She lives in some fantasy world, and that's not true. I don't live in a fantasy world. I've experienced some of the darkest of the dark. I've been through some of the most chaotic situations. I've been through pain. I've been through evil. I've been through it all too. That's why I can speak to what I'm speaking to. Because I've been through it, and I know what I have gained and learned and been taught through it. Okay? I've been in the part where I wasn't focusing on the peace or the bliss, or, where I was looking for love outside of myself, where I was in fear, where I was looking for someone to blame. I've been there. And I've also been where God has brought me recently, which is peace. Not looking for love outside of myself. Showing up and taking responsibility how I show up for self and for those around me. Like, I've been on both sides of the coin. That's why I can speak to what I'm speaking to, right? That's why I can understand what I'm trying to say here, right? This information I'm just, passing forward. There is no will but God's will. God's will for me is perfect happiness. No matter what. Everything is in God's plan, God's control. No matter what it is, we don't need to know the why. You know, why is there this? Why is there that? It's because, you know, we don't need to know why, I guess. The answer is God's in control. It's not about the why, it's about how are you personally going to show up in that. Instead of trying to figure out the why of it, or blaming God for why this is that way, or why that, it's like maybe God's asking you, well, I'm testing you. How are you going to show up in it? Quit asking me why. I know, you know, I know the why, but I want to see how you are going to develop yourself through that. I want to see how you're going to trust, how you're going to heal from the past. Are you going to heal from the past of the whys, whatever it is? Quit asking why and begin the healing journey. Begin your journey of love and trust with me. Begin your journey of sovereignty, of responsibility, of ownership. And quit asking why. Because there is no will but God's will. When you have learned how to decide with God, all decisions become as easy and as right as breathing. There is no effort, and you will be led as gently as if you were being carried down a quiet path in the summer. When you just know how to be. You be love, you be peace, you be calmness, you be joy, you be acceptance. You don't need to know why, right? Just be those things. Be those things that you're looking for. Be the answers that you wish it was. Even if it's not the answer, if you're asking why this, why that, what do you want that answer to be? Be that answer. Show up as that, right? That's how we create this energy of bliss within ourselves, and for it's going to be, it's like spreading. It's like a spreading wildfire. It spreads from within you, though. It starts within you and spreads out. Because God's will for us is perfect happiness. Today I wake with joy, expecting but the happy things of God to come to me. God doesn't wish evil on us or in the world. Okay? It's allowed to help us remember our purpose, that we're created of love. Love created me like itself, right? You are the work of God, and His work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. That's right? You're wholly loving, you're wholly lovable. That's that giving energy, not the taking energy, but the giving. This is how a man must think of himself in his heart, because that is what he is. I trust the messages I receive from my heart. Anything else? The peace of God is shining in me now. Why wait for heaven? Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. The light is in them now. Enlightenment is but a recognition and not a change at all. It's a recognition that you're not going to find it outside, but you can be it. You can create it from within self, right? It's already there. It's already here. Right? No more looking for the whys. Spirit's telling me. Just be. Be. Create space. If you're holding on to something that's got you constantly searching for the why, and it's distracting you from actually being, right? Then it's time to create space and allow it to be in your past. Let go of the hardship. And embrace the situation. Embrace it and figure out how you want to be. Don't focus on the hardship of it. Focus on the being of you. I hope this is making, I hope I'm making sense, y'all. I know I could probably do a better job explaining this, but this is the best I got at the moment of how to explain this, but I know you get it. So anyways, let's pull a couple from these and then we're going to go. What can you tell us about, okay, Spirit, so as we heal from this past, we learn about spaciousness and overcoming our hardships, overcoming the blame game, overcoming the questioning why. We trust in the divine. We know the light comes from within us, and it's for us to create from within. What does that open us up to? What does this process open us up to? Rebirth. This is the process of rebirth. What I'm trying to explain here, this is the process of rebirth. Being born not of flesh but of spirit. Reinvent yourself. Give life to your dreams. Create a new reality. And that new reality comes from within you. Okay? So it opens us up and into the rebirth, the birth of your spirit, not of your flesh. Your flesh wants to war against spirit, right? Your flesh wants to be right and know all the answers as to why, and it doesn't want to surrender. It wants to war and fight and control the world and take from the world. That's the flesh, right? But your spirit wants to give to the world. Your spirit is of God. It's the bliss, it's the peace, it's the love, it's the acceptance. It's the true you. It's the sincere part of yourself, not the part that's here in that, fight or flight energy, right? That part that needs to protect itself or take or be right or be loved. Like, that's the flesh. But the spirit of your essence, your spirit self, your divine, the soul self is sincere and warm and love and peace already. It's already whole. Your wholeness and safety lie within, not from a partner. But this sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. Anything on true love, Spirit? Wow. Growth. Growth, patience, and abundance. Okay? We got growth, patience, and abundance. I'll read these to y'all, and then we're going to go. I love you guys. It says, seek not to mentor or guide. Take baby steps as you grow. Be willing to learn from others, right? It's about us learning from one another, I guess, is what this is saying. Growth doesn't come from that mentality of taking or warring or having to be powerful, right? I guess growth comes whenever we sit back and we listen to our hearts and we listen to one another and we be guided by one another. Patience. Pause before you take action. Trust the divine timing is at work. Be patient and play while you work. And then, it's leading to our abundance. It says, enjoy the bounty of life. Your supply is unlimited. Blessings are coming to you. So believe in that. Believe in the blessings that are coming to each and every one of us. We have grown and we will continue to grow. But that growth leads that growth is your rebirth, right? Your soul will always grow and expand and I don't know where we're going next. I'm not there yet. I'm in the part where I'm just waking up and realizing that I'm, what it means to be of spirit and what it means to be of flesh, right? What it means to show up in the world responsibly, okay? Being guided by my heart versus how I used to show up in the world, feeling like it was a war zone and that I was always on the defense and looking for the whys and trying to, look for who's right and who's wrong. It's not about that, right? So that's where I've been. That's the point that Spirit's brought me to. So I don't know what comes after this, but I do know we continue to grow and we do, and our growth is leading towards our abundance. You're abundant right now, but it's just more abundance, more patience, more peace, more love, more of self. I do know that. And the more that we do this for self, the better we can leave the world when we do leave this physical world behind, whatever you leave behind, right? You're going to leave the light. You're going to leave light for the children. You're going to leave a world of a higher platform that they can just continue to expand and let me just see. Where's the world lead? Where? I mean, I know what Spirit shows me, but I want to know where's the world heading, Spirit? As if we can accomplish this mission, if we accomplish this for ourselves and for the children to come, what is it leading to for our children? What is it leading to for our children? Delight and them having clear discernment, them seeing the world, and it's like them already having the discernment and the understanding as they come into the world because of the work that we've been doing in the world by waking up to our soul as we're in the world, as we're in the physical. It's leading to delight and discernment for our children, which is beautiful. Okay, it's leading to them knowing that all is not what it seems, right? They're not going to take things the way the world is, right? Like us, I know me growing up, I took the world at face value. We were conditioned to believe the world was this, the world was that. And then we get older, and then we go through these awakenings, and we have to go through that angry phase of realizing we were lied to. Well, our kids aren't going to be lied to the way we were lied to. They're going to be given clear discernment from the get-go. Okay, it says all is not what it seems. Stay true to your knowing. Keep your dreams. And then delight. Count your blessings and enjoy life. Take pleasure in simple things. Always expect the best. This is what we're laying the foundation for our children and for ourselves. But our children, this is the world they're going to get to live in if we continue to stay focused and just plant, the seeds. We're the gardeners. We're planting the seeds. Our children are going to get to harvest the delight and the discernment and the knowingness that we've had to wake up to. I mean, I don't know about you, but I wasn't born with that knowingness. I wasn't born with understanding what Spirit's been teaching me, what I've just talked about with y'all. It's been a long process of learning and a lot of hardship and a lot of pain and forgiveness and realizations. It's an awakening, right? I don't know what it means for our children, but Spirit says they're going to have a higher platform than what we had. They're going to have a deeper discernment than what we had in the beginning. And it's because of the growth and the patience where you're truly moving towards abundance. Away from doubt and fear, away from blame gaming and having to be perfect and not allowing each other to make mistakes or accepting one another's mistakes. This is how we battle the evil of the world. We stop being those things and we be the opposite of what those things are. We be the love. We be the acceptance. We be the example. But anyways, I love you guys. Only take what resonates. You can agree or you don't have to agree. That's not why I do what I do here. I just want to put this out and hopefully, plant me a seed or two, right? I'm doing my job, so I'm planting my seeds. So you can either take that seed and let it be planted in your heart and let God water it or don't. That's up to you, but thanks for being here. I love you guys. Bye.